Chers étudiants, chers collègues, mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à cette cérémonie de remise de diplôme 2015. Welcome to all, in particular those who have come a long way to join us for this 2015 graduation ceremony. Chers étudiants, toutes les personnes dans cette salle, professeurs, parents et amis, collaborateurs de l'Institut, se réjouissent de votre succès et vous adressent leurs plus chaudes, leurs plus chaleureuses félicitations. Vous êtes à la fin d'un parcours exigeant qui vous a permis de conquérir de haute lutte un diplôme qui, nous l'espérons tous, vous servira durant toute la vie. J'aimerais adresser un souhait, j'aimerais vous faire un souhait, à savoir que les valeurs et les dispositions d'esprit que nous nous efforçons tous de cultiver chez nos étudiants vous accompagneront durant tout le reste de votre vie. La curiosité intellectuelle, l'esprit critique, la pratique de l'autocritique, la tolérance et surtout la capacité à apprendre. Il me semble que ce que nous pouvons faire de mieux pour nos étudiants, c'est de leur donner la capacité d'apprendre. Dear parents and friends, let me also express my warm thanks to you for your unflinching support and constant encouragement, without which many a success among our students would not have been possible. J'aimerais également remercier nos collaborateurs, les personnes en particulier du service des étudiants et du service carrière, qui, année après année, accompagnent nos étudiants et leur consacrent toute leur énergie et tout le meilleur d'eux-mêmes pour que nos étudiants puissent faire ici une expérience aussi marquante que possible, aussi mémorable que possible pour le reste de leur vie. Et j'inclus dans ces remerciements, bien entendu, les enseignants qui donnent également le meilleur d'eux-mêmes pour transmettre non seulement du savoir, mais également des valeurs qui font de l'éducation reçue dans cette maison une éducation qui est marquante pour la vie. Finally, last but not least, I would like to express to the presidents and the committees of our two student associations, the two presidents will join me in a few seconds on the podium. I would like to express my deep appreciation for your commitment and dedication. I do hope that you, presidents, and the members of your committees have benefited from this experience in team management, organization, and leadership. We did not always see eye to eye, but I very much benefited from your criticism and suggestions that have helped us to ameliorate what we can offer to our students. It may seem odd, but I'm still learning, so thank you very much for educating me during those 2 years. I would like now to give the floor to Mrs. Vitran, the president of the Graduate Institute Student Association, who will speak on behalf of her comrades, of her colleagues on the podium. Please.
Thank you, Director. It's Ms. I'm not married yet. One day, maybe. Okay. There's an extra seat in the front if anyone wants to grab the seat. It's going to be free. Thank you, Director, for the welcoming words, and thank you for letting me speak here today. I know it's not the most innovative thing to have the president of the student body speak at graduation, but after being elected in the highest voter turnout of elections, I think it would be appropriate, and I will try my best. As I wrote it on the bus here, the internet told me that a good speech starts with thank yous, and so I would like to continue with some thank yous. Thank you, admissions, for giving us a chance to study here. Thank you, IT, for bestowing the gift of Wi-Fi. Thank you, Lake Geneva, for being beautiful. Thank you, 9th floor of Picciotto, for your envious views. Thank you, Parfum de Beirut, for nourishing us. Thank you, professors, for imparting your knowledge. Thank you, Google, for always being there. Thank you, random Geneva high school kids, for taking up the limited space in our library. Thank you, École de Médecine, for making us feel like we're 18 again. Some of us are still. Thank you, Geneva, for making us resourceful people. Thank you, friends and family, for your support. It's not an easy task to listen to the historical law of economics and development from an anthropological point of view, as seen in the case study of an international policy, buzzword, for months on end. Thank you for your love. It's always a roller coaster ride when we're going through midterms and finals. And thank you for flying halfway around the world to be here today. There's no better way to celebrate a milestone in our lives than to be with our friends and family. Thank you, graduates. Thank you for taking the leap to study here at the Graduate Institute here in Geneva. Without you, our 2 years wouldn't have been the same. We wouldn't have made the lasting friendships that we have now. We wouldn't be who we are without each other. To you graduates, thank you. And my last thank you goes to the most important person in our lives for the past 2 years. I'm going to make this really awkward for you. This person guided us through the mire of OCP. He consoled us when OCP became OCPM. Who was there when Google let us down? Where are you? You know who you are, right there. Thank you, Michael Bimler. Right. There we go. Pick that up. Thank you. All right. Thank you for being the moon and the stars. Thank you for having the knowledge, the patience and kindness that bureaucracy never had. Michael, I have no words to express our gratitude. I just hope that one day I'm more famous than Michael Bimler. Okay? Who would have thought the last 2 years would come so quickly, like the stunning views of the French Alps? Our time has flown by. We got a new building. We jostled for seats in class. We took notes on our laps. We begged professors to let us in courses. We learned the importance of clear communication. We learned that things change at the last minute all the time. We tried to figure out where to eat lunch, and I think we're still trying to figure that out. Yeah? Okay. Some of us learned how to walk quietly in the library. Some didn't. We learned the beauty of the Swiss landscape. We saw tuition hikes. But on a positive note, we don't have to pay them, so silver lining. We made new families. We made lasting friendships. Most of us became better cooks because the food here is really not that good. We became resourceful when we couldn't study at our school. I planted a tree with the president, which was subsequently taken away. Let's see. Now we only eat Gruyere cheese, aged 10 years or older. We danced all the dances. We walked up literal and figurative mountains. And also we lost our pants at the barbecues. So no wonder I really look my age now, so sorry. After all of that, we are here to collect that magical piece of paper that unlocks the key to our future. On a side note, if anyone's hiring, I'm searching for a job. I'm highly employable, I have a master's degree, and I'm familiar with working in a multicultural setting. Okay. So, it was fun, it sucked. All in all, we learned something. I guess what I'm trying to say is that while it may have not been easy, we got through it together. And whether or not the administration knows this, this place will miss us. Thank you and congratulations.
Merci, Présidente. As we say, once a president, always a president. So let me call the next president, the president of the Assistants Association of the Graduate Institute. Alexandra Goossens est une étudiante de doctorat qui va être la maître de cérémonie. Regardez cette admirable, ce respect pour le genre. Master of Ceremony, she will organize and régenter le reste de cette cérémonie. Christine Cattet va nous rejoindre. Christine Cattet du service des étudiants qui va nous aider à avancer dans la cérémonie. Merci.
Bonjour à tous, félicitations et vraiment bienvenue à votre cérémonie de remise de diplôme de cette année 2015. Donc, je m'appelle Alexandra Gossan, je suis étudiante en 3e année de doctorat et je suis également la présidente donc, de l'association des assistants. Do not be worried if you don't understand French, because as the bilingual tradition of this institute ensures, the ceremony will be held in both languages. You will just have to do with my, let's say, charming French accent. And as it was mentioned by Vitran and also by the director, I think we should maybe start this graduation ceremony by really having a round of applause for the families and friends and guests who are here today, because I think it's also really because of their support that as a student we could really achieve what we achieved and that we could go through all what we've been through. So I think as really gratefulness, I think let's have a round of applause for all the guests. We are now going to start with the first part of the ceremony, which is the PhD graduation. And I am also just going to remind you first how are we going to proceed. So as you see, the room is already packed. So mainly we are going to go from this side of the room, get the diploma, take the picture with either the professor or the director, and go this way out. There are some seats over there, and then behind. So now you know I'm the master of ceremony, you see. I'm really doing my job. So we are now going to start with the PhD graduation. And we are going to start now.
Let me just say that during the last academic year, we had 55 students who finished their PhD. Most of them have gone back to the country or somewhere across the world. So we have we have among us 7 of those 55 PhD holders, and would like to warmly thank them for having managed to join us today.
Tout d'abord, félicitations à Madame Creitaru Ioana de Roumanie, docteur en études du développement, pour une thèse intitulée Climate Security in the Anthropocene, Alternative Security and Risk Frames of Climate Change, under the supervision of Professor Andonova Liliana and Greenwald Jacques. Congratulations. Many congratulations. Monsieur Sébastien Moretti, de Suisse, docteur en études internationales, spécialisation en droit international, pour une thèse intitulée « La protection internationale des réfugiés en Asie du Sud-Est, du privilège au droit », sous la direction du professeur Vincent Chetaille et du professeur Vera Gauland. Félicitations. Many congratulations. Madame Michal Pazerman-Spinner, d'Israël, PhD in International Studies, specialization in International Economics, for a thesis on 3 essays on institutions and the cost of foreign capital of emerging markets under the supervision of Professor Hugo Panizza. Congratulations. Madame Nadia Sartoretti, de Italie et Suisse, for a PhD in International Studies, specialization in International History and Politics, for a thesis on Mediating Power, the Self in Chinese and Indian Popular Media, under the supervision of Professor Gopalan Balachandran. Madame Bérénice Cafoui-Schramm, France, docteur en études internationales, spécialisation en droit international, pour une thèse sur la fiction juridique et le juge, contribution à une autre herméneutique de la Cour internationale de justice, sous la direction du professeur Marcelo Cohen. Madame Armelle Vessier, France, docteur en études internationales, spécialisation en droit international, pour une thèse sur la protection des droits de l'enfant en droit international en période de consolidation de la paix, sous la direction du professeur Vincent Chetaille. And last but not least, Madame Emily Wiseman from Canada, PhD in International Studies, specialization in political science, for a thesis on the gendered realities of natural disasters, Gender Mainstreaming Among International Humanitarian Organizations After the 2010 Haiti Earthquake, under the supervision of Professor Elisabeth Prügel. Many congratulations to all of you. And we will now have the cérémonie de remise des prix, de 2 prix pour des doctorants, qui, cette année, il se trouve que ce sont 2 prix qui sont adressés à des doctorants en histoire, du département d'histoire, et c'est pour ça que nous appelons le professeur Davide Rodogno pour les remettre.
Bonjour, le premier prix est le prix Pierre Dubois, qui récompense chaque année la meilleure thèse de doctorat en histoire internationale. Ce prix porte le nom d'un professeur d'histoire qui a enseigné pendant de nombreuses années à l'Institut et qui est prématurément décédé en 2007. Il a été remis pour la première fois en 2008.
Donc, le prix est attribué cette année à Jacqueline Granick pour sa thèse intitulée Humanitarian Responses to Jewish Suffering Abroad by American Jewish Organizations, 1914-1929, under the supervision of Professor Davide Rodogno and Professor Pierre-Yves Saunier, Professor of the Université de Laval. Congratulations.
Le deuxième prix décerné cette année, c'est par l'Association des anciens de l'Institut, qui offre chaque année un prix à la meilleure thèse de doctorat, décerné à tour de rôle par l'un des départements académiques. Cette année, ce prix récompense 2 étudiantes ex aequo en histoire internationale, Anna Mkoyan pour sa thèse intitulée « La politique russe dans le Caucase du Sud, le cas de l'Arménie entre 1991 et 2008 », sous la supervision de André Dibi, et Nadia Sartoretti, encore elle, pour sa thèse intitulée « Mediating Power, the Self in Chinese and Indian Popular Media », supervisée par mon collègue Gopalan Balachandran.
Thank you very much and many congratulations again. So, we will now proceed to the master graduation. Thank you for being patiently standing over there. So we will now start with the master graduation, starting with the interdisciplinary masters. And we will start with the Masters in Development Studies, donc le Master en études de développement, or the MDev, as better known. And Catherine Catet is going to read out the names, and I will call Professor Gopal Balachandran to give the diplomas.
Go.
We go.
Madame Regina Hadot. Monsieur Youssef Ahmed. Madame Zahra Al-Janabi. Madame Azra Avdajic. Monsieur Yannick Beller. Madame Émilie Balestra. Madame Tara Bett. Madame Ania Bodacci. Monsieur Joao Bieber. Madame Anna Bresneva. Madame Sandrine Bussy. Madame Astrid Caruet. Madame Camille Chapuis. Félicitations. Madame Estefania Charvet. Madame Taylor Clayton. Félicitations. Madame Megan Detch. Félicitations. Monsieur André de Aguiar, frère. Félicitations. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Monsieur Damian Dankowski. Monsieur Cédric Desprats. Monsieur Florian Dante. Madame Gérane Farjam. Merci. Félicitations. Madame Mélanie Franck. Madame Dalinda Guerrero Piedra. Madame Regina Hammond. Madame Sabrina Herzog de Souza Lima. Monsieur Mario Hubert. Madame Santi Yacounel. Monsieur Christopher Jenkins. Madame Alison Jones. Madame Noura Lisa Karamaji. Madame Ola Kasnetchi. Monsieur Christian Keller. Madame Radhika Krishna. Monsieur Matthias Krupnacker. Bravo. Madame Julia Leuenberger. Madame Denise Lozano-Lazo. Monsieur Yer Maldonado Lezama. Bravo. Monsieur Mathias Malta. Madame Viviane Marcelino Santos Lima. Madame Catarina Mastelaro. Monsieur Tamas Molnar. Monsieur Alain Nellen. Madame Marielle Noyer. Madame Ana Pereira de Alba. Madame Saskia Perrin. Madame Gaëlle Philippin. Monsieur Amri Priadi. Madame Nélida Ramirez Robles. Madame Déborah Raymond. Madame Lève Rickmers. Madame Brittany Robles. Oops, sorry.
Do I get one?
Yes. Madame Laura Rodriguez Avalos. Madame Sarah Riser. Madame Stéphanie Schlipper. Madame Mariana Selika. Madame Jeanne Avicenne. Madame Amanda Senger. Madame Tanvish Sina. Madame Mathel Sow. Madame Madevi Sunswan. Madame Junko Taïra. Madame Vilma Ticona. Madame Vitran. Madame Luisa Trujillo Paredes. Madame Moran Chibombe. Madame Alejandra Urreia Diaz. Madame Sofia Vargas Villanueva. Madame Béa Varnet. Madame Élodie Vieux. Madame Yisol Yanez. Madame Lisa Zimmermann. Et il y a des étudiants de master en études de développement qui n'étaient pas présents mais qui sont diplômés. Il y a Monsieur Genta Akazaki, Monsieur Solomon Anzagra, Monsieur Elliot Baker, Monsieur Aske Bond, Madame Courtney Chatterson, Madame Léonore Cornelison, Madame Canel Cuvelier, Madame Alice Dorer, Madame Madhuparna Dutta, Madame Nawang Eden, Madame Sabrina Frutig, Madame Claire Elvig, Madame Sarah Imbach, Madame Ali Kampmann, Monsieur Unjin Lee, Madame Olivia Matisse, Madame Serena Bitbaokar, Monsieur Jorge Morel Salman, Madame Marta Pereira Arana, Madame Nicole Schnitzler, Madame Leila Seguin, Monsieur Razika Somavera, Madame Sina Taylor, Madame Sandra Valdez-Sala et Monsieur Nicolas Vieux.
Development studies, and I think we can give a round of applause again. Congratulations. Nous allons maintenant procéder à la cérémonie de remise de diplôme des étudiants de Master en Affaires internationales. We will now have the graduation ceremony of the Masters in International Affairs, and that will be proceeded by the same person, so Professor Gopalan Balachandran. Thank you very much.
Madame Selamavit Adanom Habib. Monsieur André Alves dos Reis. Madame Dvita Ariani. Monsieur Mathieu Bamber. Madame Renée Bangert. Madame Anna Baracaldo. Madame Léa Barbeza. Madame Anna Matalone. Monsieur Michael Bimler. Monsieur Julien Caletti. Monsieur Vladimir César. Monsieur Jacob Donatz. Madame Mélissa Donohé. Monsieur Ludwig Egger. Madame Pauline Éluère. Monsieur Christophe Anger. Madame Nadia Ozer. Madame Louise Emfray. Monsieur Florian Hildebrandt. Non, non, non. Madame Dei Jeong. Monsieur Maurice Junginger. Monsieur Guillaume Lamotte. Monsieur Minghong Lo. Madame Xingyan Lin. Madame Xingluan Liu. Monsieur Ludovico Marinelli. Madame Tania Martin-Moret. Madame Néa Matour. Madame Hui Matsumoto. Madame Nazia Mohamed. Bravo. Madame Julia Molenhoff. Monsieur Mathias Musi. Félicitations. Monsieur Punay Nagaraj. Ah bon, pas de pub. D'accord, raté. Madame Eva Ostendarp. Madame Ali Pazieka. Madame Christine Patzel. Madame Eva Perret. Monsieur Barna Posta. Madame Elena Quinn. Madame Edith Red. Madame Barbara Rosen-Jacobson. Madame Kiyomi Sakugawa. Madame Anna Léa Schluchter. Madame Risha Sharma. Madame Victoria Sitou. Madame Ingrid Surgrin. Monsieur Geraldo Takanamide Oliveira. Madame Élise Thomas. Madame Anna Vasquez Muniz. Monsieur Andrei Wagner. Madame Tarini Yukov. Madame Marina Zrid. Et les diplômés qui ne sont pas là mais qui ont eu leur diplôme sont Monsieur Dorgam Abou Salim, Madame Marietta Angeli, Monsieur Nicolas Herves, Monsieur Semungus Gebreyout, Madame Smaya Giorgio, Monsieur Adriano Fer, Monsieur Seong Ji Kim, Monsieur Sébastien Lesota, Monsieur Jen Nakatomi, Madame Serena Sodner, Madame Meriel Trabelsi, Madame Eirim You, Madame Dominika Zimszonek et Monsieur Joe Zubek.
Thank you very much, and many congratulations to all again for the students and masters in international affairs. Congratulations. Before proceeding now to the graduation ceremony of the disciplinary masters, we will welcome Professeur Isabelle Milbert qui va remettre le prix Arditi en relations internationales.
Merci, bonjour à tous. Je suis très heureuse et émue d'être parmi vous cet après-midi. La Fondation Arditi a créé ce prix Arditi en relations internationales en 1993. Ce prix est attribué aux meilleures mémoires de master en études internationales ou en affaires internationales. Cette année, le prix est attribué à Géraldine Mertz, étudiante en anthropologie et sociologie du développement, pour son mémoire Memoria Historica en El Salvador and Beyond the Exploration of a Dynamic Memoryscape.
Congratulations. So congratulations again. And we will now proceed to the disciplinary master's graduation ceremony. And we will now start by the Masters in Anthropology and Sociology of Development. Nous allons maintenant donc commencer la cérémonie de remise de diplôme des masters en anthropologie et en sociologie du développement, remis par Christine Cattet et le professeur Isabelle Milbert.
Madame Maya Avis. Madame Savannah Dodd. Madame Djedjerska. Madame Jenna Frotz. Madame Juliana Gazi Pereira da Silva. Madame Victoria Gronwald. Madame Sarah Hayes. Madame Sophie Croce. Madame Samira Marty. Madame Michaela Neumann. Madame Patricia Onmart Paramita. Madame Linda Peter-Hans. Madame Rosie Sims. Madame Heather Sutor. Madame Juliana Viegas Gomez. Tous les étudiants étaient présents.
Félicitations encore à tous les étudiants de master en anthropologie et sociologie du développement. Félicitations. On continue avec la cérémonie de remise de diplôme des étudiants de master en droit international et j'appelle le professeur Andrea Bianchi. So we will now have the graduation ceremony for students in Masters of International Law with Professor Andrea Bianchi.
Et Madame Mouna Angeli. Madame Teresa Bosco Ferreira. Madame Stéphanie Caligara. Madame Anina d'Albert. Madame Isabelle Daum. Madame Elena Fink. Monsieur Lorenzo Gasbari. Madame Catherine Imbeck. Madame Venlin. Madame Giorgia Linardi. Monsieur Najib Messihi. Madame Park. Monsieur Douglas Pivnici. Monsieur Caspar Plomb. Madame Jacqueline Reid. Monsieur Milic Repa. Madame Anna Rocha Bernardino. Madame Carmen Rovalo Otero. Madame Vladlena Rudusan Simitsa. Monsieur Okanouzoun. Madame Sonia Vanner. Et les diplômés absents sont Madame Won Chu, Monsieur Ramon de la Torre, Monsieur Stefano Moric, Monsieur Diego Pacheco Roman et Monsieur Florian Renaud.
Congratulations again to the graduates in international law. Avec la remise de diplôme des étudiants de master en économie internationale, avec le professeur Hugo Panizza.
Et Madame Shiri Anderson. Oui. Monsieur Vladimir Andrianov. Madame Sophia Ding. Monsieur Alberto Gamboa. Madame Léa Girardin. Madame Élise Gric. Madame Claudia Grigore. Monsieur Luis Lopez Vivas. Pas de Luis. Monsieur Étienne Michaud. Monsieur Prakash Patak. Monsieur Christian Stettler. Monsieur Matthias van den Heuvel. Et ceux qui ne sont pas parmi nous, Monsieur Florent Egli, Monsieur Marc Hack, Monsieur Van Linren, Madame Tasha Terreblanche, Madame Véronika Zirnova et Madame Anne Zvivnert de Cadena.
Congratulations again to all the graduates in international economics. Nous allons continuer maintenant avec la remise de diplôme des étudiants de master en histoire internationale avec le professeur Davide Rodogno.
Madame Wan Mai Chung. Félicitations. Madame Nayana Das. Monsieur Oliver Félix. Monsieur Esben Markussen. Madame Indra Tevnoz. Madame Yuen Xiu. Et les étudiants qui ne sont pas présents, Madame Akawat, Madame Ashipala, Monsieur Goitom et Madame Kapoor.
Congratulations once again to all the students graduates in international history. The last disciplinary masters graduation ceremony, which is the Relations internationales et sciences politiques, International Relations and Political Sciences, with the professor Ravi Bhavnani. Merci.
Madame Aditi Arora. Monsieur Brice Bambara. Madame Farah Boyrou. Madame Cara Charbarbo. Non. Monsieur Patrick Durst. Madame Jessica Gerken. Monsieur Emmanuel Gebreb. Monsieur William Knechtel. Monsieur György Kostodikowski. Madame Stella Kotova. Madame Min Fuangla. Monsieur Lucas Meyer. Madame Rosana Ocampo. Monsieur Mads Ringas. Monsieur Victor Santos Rodriguez. Monsieur Corbinian Schink. Madame Katharine Shaw. Et la petite absente, Madame Florina Frey.
So many congratulations to you all for this graduation. So many congratulations again. Before turning on to another part of the graduation ceremony, which is also very important, which is the cocktail, we have one last prize. So it is the prix Mariano Garcia Rubio, qui va maintenant être remis par le professeur Andrea Bianchi.
Merci, Alexandra. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be able to award once again the Mariano Garcia Rubio Prize, awarded yearly to the best paper in international law by the International Law Department. To the benefit of those who might not know who Mariano Garcia Rubio was, I should say that Mariano was a teaching assistant and a very promising scholar whose life was far too prematurely taken away by terrible illness. So for us to have this prize is a way to reward students' work, particularly deserving, but also to have Mariano's memory live on. This year we have a novelty, because I asked the reading committee for the prize to come up with a statement of reasons for the choice. Just a few lines that I'd like to read out. It looks like the Department of International Law is the only one that likes suspense, because we are the only ones that do not announce beforehand the recipient of the prize. So I'd like to stick to this tradition, and I won't mention the award winning person, but I'll read out the statement of reasons. This dissertation seeks to illuminate the foundations of legal argument in international law. It focuses on the self-referentiality of law, the ways in which legal argument operates on the basis of assumptions without being able to found these assumptions further. This dissertation is ambitious and broad, and it tackles a question relevant to international legal theory as well as to practice. It builds on the tradition of critical legal scholarship, and it makes good use of philosophical literature to pursue its inquiry. It also reflects a self-confident voice that does not shy away from asking uneasy questions and setting up an inquiry in a rather unconventional way. Despite the limitations imposed by the context of the master's dissertation, it presents a serious, theoretically well-informed and empirically grounded engagement with a major issue in international law and signals much promise for the future pursuit of scholarship. This is a significant achievement which deserves the Mariano Garcia Rubio Prize 2015. And the title of the dissertation is The Lernian Hydra of International Law, an analysis of legal self-referentiality through the case law of the International Court of Justice, and the winner is Ana Luisa Orsha Bernardino.
Many congratulations again. So I think this marks the end of the formal part of the graduation ceremony. And I would like to add that as this marks the end of a phase, 2 years or more for some, I think it also marks a new departure towards the next phase. And in that sense, I really wish you all a wonderful continuing path of ever expanding horizons and passion. And I would like to finish by a quote from Goethe, which says, "Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do." On that note, I wish to congratulate all again, and really many congratulations, and you are all welcome for cocktail afterwards. But before, of course, we are going to give the floor once again to the director of this institution, Philippe Burin. Congratulations.
We owe many thanks to Alexandra Gossens. She is a magnificent master of ceremony. I'm sure she will do a brilliant career as a president of a Rotary Club, at least. So thank you so much. Now we are very privileged to have as a keynote speaker for a few minutes, one of our most distinguished alumni, Jacques Morillon, who did his PhD at the Graduate Institute some time ago, as he learned, in the 1960s, and then had a very distinguished career. First at the International Red Cross Committee as Director General, and then as Secretary General of the World Organization of the Scout Movement. What is exactly the title? Yeah, exactly. In any case, it's a privilege to have Jacques Morillon with us, and I'm very thankful to him that he accepted to share with us a few reflections on, drawn from his long career, because in my view is the perfect embodiment of what this institution can bring and offer to our best students. Thank you, Jacques, for coming.
Thank you, Philippe. I'm very conscious that time is running short. You are all very thirsty. So am I. So I need to be a bit briefer than planned. But let me just say that my intervention had two parts originally, and that I will summarize its first part. Considering that it would have to be delivered on 9/11, which is today, I was stressing in my first part the privilege which we all share here to have studied in an institution that has not only a tradition, but a double tradition of both excellence and tolerance. For the rigorous acquisition of knowledge is the best guarantee for tolerance, since, as we all know and see every day, intolerance is the daughter of ignorance. That approach and tradition has marked me for all my life indeed, and I owe so much to the Institute, which has made me a good part of what I am and was. But I shall not dwell on the first part of my speech because time is short. Just to say that in that speech I made a distinction between teaching and educating. Teaching being the transmission of knowledge, educating being the acquisition of values. And I was noting that we had received both here, and I believe you have received both here at the Institute. Knowledge, the rigorous acquisition of knowledge, but also the acquisition of certain values, amongst which tolerance should definitely be the most important. The second part of my speech I shall go into, because I was asked by our director to share with you some, or at least one, of the anecdotes I have about my 14 meetings with Nelson Mandela, 6 of them in prison, where I used to visit him on Robben Island when I was Delegate General for Africa for the International Committee of the Red Cross, 8 of them outside prison, before, during, and after his presidency, because we stayed in contact all throughout these years. Before I tell you the anecdote which I have chosen to tell you, I will say 2 things which may interest those amongst you who are students of history. The archives of the International Committee of the Red Cross have recently been opened for the portion that goes from 1966 to 1975. And there are a great number of very fascinating subjects to be chosen from, both for master's degree and for PhDs. I would say that one very good subject on for history, for a PhD, I would prefer on history, would be the ICRC and apartheid from 1948 to 1975, this being the closing year for the archives. And I encourage any student of history to, I guess, contact Professor Ordonio if he wants to go further on the subject. Believe me, that thesis could be quite a scoop. My anecdote goes back to June 1st, 1974, during my 4th private interview with Nelson Mandela in his cell. As some of you may know, the ICRC visits political detainees or prisoners of war only if we obtain the interview without witness, that is, say, the possibility of speaking freely with a prisoner without any outsider, and if we can repeat these visits, for otherwise they cannot bring any improvement in the conditions of detention. This was my 2nd visit on Robben Island and my 4th private interview with Nelson Mandela. And during our talks, we of course dealt with those subjects which were important to him and other prisoners, mainly the material conditions of the prison, the question of stopping the work in the quarry, the question of having been able to obtain the right to study for them, not yet the right to news, but the right to study for them, which was very important because it turned Robben Island into a true university. And those who spent 20 years there came out much better prepared to rule the country than they had entered it. Food, clothing, blankets, a bed for him. I had tried to obtain a bed for him because he was sleeping on a mattress on the soil. Without success for 2 years. I got it on my 3rd visit, mind you. And the material things that make the life of any prisoner anywhere in the world. The purpose of the presence of the ICRC being not to liberate the prisoner, that is Amnesty International's job, but to obtain reasonable prison conditions for them. We got to speaking on one specific subject, which was censorship of his mail. In all prisons, one censors, naturally, for security reasons, one censors the mail of the prisoner. But there are very different ways of censoring the mail of a prisoner. And if you are somewhat a sadistic censor, you can make a letter, a love letter from the wife of the prisoner, appear to be the announcement that you have a lover. It's just a matter of what you bore out in the text of the words, and it can change completely the feeling and the sense of the letter received. And the officer who was censoring Mandela's mail was very good, meaning very bad, of course, at censoring it. And we discussed it. It provoked a rather non-Red Cross reaction on my part. I said, "I'm amazed, Nelson. You don't seem to hate the guy. If I were you, I'd hate his guts." Not a very Red Cross remark, I do agree, with the distance. And his answer, "Hold to your seat." I'll quote it exactly for you. I wrote it down soon after my visit. You have to imagine the scene. You are there in Mandela's cell. He is already Madiba for all his followers, so to say, but he's been 10 years in prison, and he's going to stay another 17. And you're sitting not on his bed, he has no bed, but on that kind of mattress he has on the ground, both of you, chatting. And this is the answer he gave me. He said, "Oh, no, Jacques. Hating serves no purpose. It is self-defeating, a self-defeating feeling, for it only hurts the one who hates and not the one who is hated." Now, it's not just Mandela, it's our lives. Isn't there in this room a person who doesn't have some hard feeling against somebody? Possibly with good reason? Huh? And is that person not thinking, whom am I hurting in my hate? Myself is Mandela's answer. And this was not just a matter of character and personality. This was a very well thought policy position on his part. And the proof of it came many years later. It came on the 27th of August 1990 in Oslo, where we both were. I was representing the ICRC because the ICRC has received the Nobel Peace Prize 3 times. Well, Henry Dunant received it the first, but the institution has received it 3 times. And there was a meeting called The Anatomy of Hate, organized by Elie Wiesel, and Mrs. Brundtland, and Mitterrand was there, and everybody who mattered was there, and Mandela was there. And one of the persons present, his name was Dr. Byron Hove. He was he's the late president of the Zimbabwe Red Cross, publicly said to Mandela, "But Madiba, I am amazed. Whenever you speak of your experience of your 27 years in prison, where you had so many reasons to hate your adversaries, you never seemed to manifest any hate." And here again. And he added, Byron Hove added, "I've been only 6 months in prison, and whenever I think of it, I have this burning flame in me of hate for those who kept me there. And you've been 27 years. It hasn't affected you in the same way? And again, Mandela said, hate or hating only harms the hater. It is better to keep one's energy for the struggle and save it by not hating. Now, if you think of what happened to South Africa after Mandela was freed, and the way in which, of course, with Desmond Tutu and the Peace and Reconciliation Commission, etc., you know the story, but the way in which he made it possible to go to a peaceful situation of one man, one vote, is it not because of his capacity not to hate? Truly, the greatness of the man was to be felt at that moment already, deep inside the prison, with still so many years to go before he could put into practice that amazing quality. Thank you.
Je crois que c'est une excellente conclusion à cette cérémonie de remise des diplômes. Merci encore une fois à tous d'être venus assister à cette cérémonie. Félicitations aux diplômés et retrouvons-nous pour un verre de l'amitié un peu plus haut à la cafétéria. Merci.